Welcome back. You're here because you are ready for video number 2, which means our success criteria number 2 for today is I can find the leg of a right triangle. So in the first video, you learned how to find the hypotenuse, which is across from the right angle. In this video, you'll figure out what to do if you're missing a side or a leg. So if we look at this triangle here, we have across from the right angle, we have 15, and we have a side length of x and 9. So what's a little bit different about this triangle is that we are actually missing a leg instead of the hypotenuse. So in the first video, we were figuring out what would happen if we were missing the hypotenuse, or C, how you would do that. But in this video, we're actually missing a leg. So we could pretend that this is either A or B. With the legs, you just gotta pick and choose which one you want. I could say that X is A, or I could say, no, this is gonna be B and 9 is gonna be A. It really does not matter which one it is between A and B. The only one that really matters is that C is the hypotenuse. Okay, so let's figure out what's gonna happen. So we're gonna try this one together here. We have a triangle that has a hypotenuse of 14. I know that because the 14 is across from the right angle. So I'm going to label that C. And then we have a side length of 10 and a side length of x. Again, we don't really care about which one's which, so I'm going to put A is equal to 10 and B is equal to x. Or, you know what, just because I can, I'm actually going to do it reversed. B is equal to 10 and A is equal to x. Okay, so just like in that first video, you want to make sure that you are copying down this problem in your notes. I would title it How to Find a Missing Leg, and then put example 1 or example 3, wherever you are at. You'll want to draw this out, and just like with the hypotenuse one, we actually have multiple steps as well. So the first step that we have is we write down the Pythagorean theorem, the formula, which is a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Next step is substituting in our known values. So I know that a is x squared. I know that b should be 10. Don't forget the little square. And that c is actually 14. Don't forget the squared. Okay, so now my next step is actually evaluating these. I can't do anything until I have gotten rid of that the squared. So I'm left with x squared is equal to 10 squared. Oh, no, my bad. X squared plus 10 squared, which is 100. So x squared plus 100 equals 14 squared. Now you guys have access to a calculator, so go ahead and do 14 times 14. That should get you, 16, 5, 1, 4. Nope, that's wrong. Okay, sorry, I have an extra 1 there when I was doing my multiplication. So I need to just erase it. Come on, erase. Okay, if you guys used a calculator, you wouldn't have made a mistake. Unless you put it in wrong. But 14 squared is actually equal to 196. Okay, here's where it differs a little bit. We actually have to use more than one inverse relationship. So I'm actually going to draw a line down the equal sign. Then I'm going to subtract 100 from both sides. Okay, so the hundreds cancel out on my left, and I'm left with x squared equals 196 minus 100, which gives me 96. Then I can do the square root of both sides, and x is equal to the square root of 96 which is equal to, let's put that in the calculator. X is equal to 9.79. So we're going to round to the nearest tenth. So 9.8. Okay, make sure you have that in your notes. If you need more time, pause the video. We're going to go to the next example. Okay, so here it says, show your work on paper and enter your answers here. We have two examples here. So we have solve both below. Be careful about which part is missing. So we have triangle 1, which has the right angle. Across from the right angle is 24. And the other two numbers are 15 and x. Then number 2, across from the right angle is x. And we have 11 and 7 are the other two numbers. So go ahead, try these two. Be careful which one's missing, and then you're going to check your answers with me. Alright, hopefully you have noticed that on one of these, we actually are missing a leg, and on the other one, we're missing the hypotenuse. So on the first one, we have the hypotenuse and we're missing a leg. And on the second one, we are missing the hypotenuse. This is what we're trying to find. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and label my triangles. Alright, I've gone ahead and written down my formulas for both of them. Just because I wanted to point out that the formula that we use for both of these are the same exact ones. So let's go ahead and substitute now. You can do number 1 first and then number 2. I'm going to do them at the same time. Actually, no, I'll just do number 1 first. So go ahead, keep on going with that, and then check in with my video. Alright, on problem number 1, I want to point out that I chose 15 as A and X as B. So my next step led me to 15 squared plus X squared equals 24 squared. Now I need to evaluate those. So 15 squared is going to give me 225. 24 squared is 576. So for this one, I'm going to draw a line down the equal sign. I'm going to subtract 225 from both sides so that I can get x by itself. You guys have a calculator for this, so make sure you go ahead and use your resources. Okay, now that I've subtracted 225 from 576, I get x squared equals 351. I need to take the square root of both sides so I can get x equals, and now I have to put the square root of 351 into a calculator. So I'm going to pause the video and I'll be right back. Okay, so the square root of 351 is 18.734 blah blah blah. So we're going to round it to 18.7. Alright, now that we've done that first example, I want you guys to go ahead and do number 2. Now I do want to point out again, if you forgot, that for number 2 we are missing the hypotenuse here. So we're actually trying to find C. So pause the video, do it, and then check your answers back with me. Okay, so did you get approximately 13? So the square root of 170 is actually equal to 13.038. So if we round it to the nearest tenth, I'll just get 13. Alright, how'd you do? Did you do all of the steps that I showed? This is how the steps that I showed here is what my expectation of what your work should look like. So everything that I have on my screen right now is what you should have had on your paper when you were trying to solve this. So if you're missing a step, that's gonna actually make it a lot harder for yourself. So I don't do all of these steps just because I want to. It's because they're very helpful to have. If you still need to write these down, go ahead and pause the video because I'll be moving on. Alright, so that's all the examples that I have here. If you get stuck on the back side of your worksheet, make sure that you rewatch this video, pause, rewind as you see fit or as you need. Make sure you check with a neighbor. You guys can work with your neighbors. Remember to show your steps and your thinking. Reflect on your answer. Does it make sense? So remember the worksheet was you did the first side, and now you're going to work on the back side. So in this one, you just really have to pay close attention to what side you're missing. A lot of these you are given the hypotenuse and you're missing a leg, but some of these might actually be that you have to find the hypotenuse again. So just make sure you're paying close attention there. When you have finished the backside of that worksheet, make sure that you come back here. On slide 22, you have an exit ticket. You're going to put your answer to number 14 and number 18. So 14 and 18. On Desmos, that will be your exit ticket. That's how I will be evaluating you, aggressively monitoring. If you by chance finish early, then slide 23, 24, and 25 are some extension questions that are a little bit more challenging, but it's what we're going to be doing on Thursday, Friday anyways. So, good luck. Email me if you have questions that you want me to address on Wednesday and Thursday, Friday. I wish you the best.